What's good, everybody? This your boy Young Boss. I just want to start off by thanking everybody that viewed and supported the video Watch the Throne, Who's Sitting on Your Throne. It was a success for God's honor and glory, and I pray that the message may continue to be spread. This video here today is titled Dear Atheist, and I want to start off by reading a verse from Psalms chapter 14, which reads as following. Only fools say in their hearts, there is no God. They are corrupt and their actions are evil. Not one of them does good. The verse is self-explanatory, where it points out that only a person that thinks in their mind and believes in their heart there is no God is a fool. This person cannot produce, cannot do anything of good value. Everything that they do is corrupted, and everything that they have in mind with the motives of doing is evil. I want to then go to Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 5 that says, just as you cannot understand the path of the wind or the mystery of a tiny baby growing in its mother's womb, so you cannot understand the activity of God who does all things. Again, the verse is self-explanatory, where you cannot explain in which direction the wind will blow, but you know the wind is there because you feel it. You can't see it, but you know it's there because it's able to be felt. No different with God. You can't see him, but you can feel him. He is the creator of the wind. How can you believe in the wind and not believe in him? But then it gets a little bit more in depth, where it talks about the mystery of a tiny baby growing in a mother's womb. You know, science is taught to us from an early age. And if you get more in depth, you have more knowledge of it. And I have a book that is speaking of the process of a child's growth and development. And I want to read you a sentence from this book. It's not a Christian science book. It's a general science book. Alright? General science book. The sentence reads, the science of the development of the individual before birth is called embryology. It is a story of miracles describing the means by which a new life is started and the steps by which a single microscopic cell is transformed into a complex human being. Now, while I was reading that sentence, two things stood out to me. One was the word miracle, and the other was the end where it says transformed into a complex human being. Now, why would a science book use the word miracle, right? So I looked up the word miracle, its definition. My source was Merriam-Webster.com. The definition that popped up was an extraordinary event manifesting divine intervention in human affairs. An extremely outstanding or unusual event, thing, or accomplishment. Now, if you're an atheist, you may be saying, well, I believe in evolution. I believe that we came from the monkey. Well, this is science for you. And in this book, at no time does it say we came from a monkey. It did point out that life is a miracle, and it pointed out also that it was complex. I'm going to show you how complex our human body is. You ever thought about how the blood cycles from your heart to your feet and back up towards your body's lungs and brain, going against gravity? There's a such thing in the human leg called normal similar vowels. A similar vowel is in the shape like this. Alright? So when you make compression pressure, it opens. And then when you let go of the pressure, it closes. And this is how the body cycles its blood. Now you're going to tell me who created a body that could do something so smart as this? We couldn't just have came from nothing. Because if we came from nothing, that means every little detail wouldn't exist. Usually things that come from nothing are just really big, I don't know, blobs. But we didn't come from nothing because we're not a really big blob. We're detailed, we're complex, we're defined. That means somebody created us with a purpose. Somebody created us with divine intellect, with divine wisdom. The only person that can create that is a divine being. And the divine being is God. Now we see that this divine being, God, created us so complex that not even man can understand in completion everything that goes on. Just the same way no man will be able to understand God in his completion, which is spoke about at the end of the verse in Ecclesiastes 11:5. No man can understand the activity of God who does all things. God does all these things. Now, I'm going to read another verse to you. In Hebrews chapter 11. And I'm going to go to verse 3. That says, by faith, we understand that the entire universe was formed by God's command. That what we now see did not come from anything that can be seen. That's a miracle in itself right there. That this that we see did not come from things that were seen before. That means it came from the mind of God. That means they had to come from somebody's mind. That means he had to have basically planned everything out in numbers, in science, in wisdom. He planned everything out. And in the beginning it says, by faith. See, the only way we can please God is by faith. Now I'm going to go to verse 1. In Hebrews chapter 11, it says, faith is the confidence that we hope for will actually happen. So faith is the confidence that we hope for will actually happen. It gives us assurance about things we cannot see. Through their faith, this is verse 2. Through their faith, the people in old days earned good reputations. Verse 6 in that same chapter says, and it is impossible to please God without faith. Anyone who wants to come to him must believe that God exists and that his rewards are for those who sincerely seek him. Now this is where I came up with that thought of an atheist is a secret admirer of God, because they admire the things that he created, but they don't accept him to be. See, they accept the world, earth, they accept the stars, they accept the trees and the grass and the animals, they accept other humans, but they don't accept God. How can you admire things that were created by a person that you don't admire? How can you admire another human being, but you can't accept that they were created in the image of God? How can you accept that your children are beautiful, are wonderful, and admire them and see them grow, but don't believe there's a God that made that complex body that they have? See, that blows my mind right there, because it's like an oxymoron that you accept the things that you see, but just because you don't see something, you don't accept it. Like, it tells me that there was a divine power that created us, that we didn't just come from evolution. We didn't come from the monkey. We didn't evolve from that. God created the monkey to be the monkey. God created man to be man. And nowhere in there was there intertwined. I'm going to now read something that I read in an article that says, the Bible never debates God, and it never defends God, nor it seeks to prove God. So if you're an atheist and you say you read the Bible from cover to cover, but you're looking for approval, you're looking for defense, you're looking for a debate, you're not going to find it in the Bible. Because what the Bible simply does is affirm and proclaim God. The Bible asserts that it's from God. The Bible is inspired by God, written by man. And this inspiration came from God's Holy Spirit. And that right there demands faith. When you read the Bible, you can't read the Bible without faith. Because if you read the Bible like without faith, it's like reading another book. And the Bible is just not another book. The Bible in itself is complex, like the human body. The Bible in itself shows God's creation and God's glory. How can you say that you don't believe in God, but you don't even control your own life? You breathe in the air that's not even yours. You can't even control your own death date. You can't even control the day you was born, but you say there's no God. How is that possible? You question people that believe in God, but you never question yourself unto saying, is there a God? Do I lack something? And yeah, you do lack something. We all lack something. And that lack comes from separation of God. Alright? Now, you may be thinking, well, I can have faith in self. Yeah, that, it's 2011 and people are saying that they have faith in self and they can do whatever they want to do if they have faith in themselves. But you having faith in an imperfect person, your faith is imperfect. So if you have faith in an imperfect person, that means you're most likely going to fail. But if you place your faith in a perfect being that created you, that means that your faith can go as far to please God. When you place your faith in Him, when you place your faith in a perfect being, supernatural being, a divine being, a supreme being, there's no way, you can't tell me that God don't exist. You can fight it all you want. All you want, you can fight it. You can't prove me any different. And you're going to say, well, prove me. Well, I'll tell you this. Tomorrow's not promised. So just go to sleep. And I pray to God that you wake up. Because if you don't wake up, the one you'll see is your creator. That's truth right there. All I want to do is present to you Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Because if you deny God's existence, then you're denying him too. And if you deny Jesus Christ, he's going to deny you. To deny God's existence is to deny your own existence. And what I want to read here today is from Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 19 that says, "Today I have given you the choice between life and death, between blessing and curses. Now I call on heaven and earth to witness the choice you make. And oh, that you would choose life, so that you and your descendants might live." Life and death. You deny God, you deny life. You accept Christ, you accept God, you accept life. There's no in between. There is no in between. And I want to leave you with a statement that I wrote earlier on Twitter. And it's, a lot of atheists question the character of God. But what's the point of questioning God's character if you don't even believe he exists? Why do you fight against something that you say don't exist? What's the point about fighting against it if you believe that it doesn't exist? Personally, I feel like, one, you have anger, bitterness, and you're in denial. Because with everything that you see around you, God exists whether you accept it or not. And before you lay your head to sleep, there's always that thought, does God really exist? Romans 1:20 says, "For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world and the things that have been made, so they are without excuse." You have no excuse that God doesn't exist. And that's that.